For most of human history, cats were not pets. They were not soft little animals sleeping on pillows. They were silent predators, small enough to hide in darkness, fast enough to disappear in a second, and patient enough to watch something move for hours before killing it. They did not pull our carts like horses. They did not guard our camps like dogs. They did not give us milk like cows. And yet, somehow, this strange independent animal became one of the most successful creatures in human civilization. Not by obeying humans, not by serving humans, but by using the world humans built. Because when humans invented farming, we also accidentally created the perfect empire for cats. Erakrita. To understand how this happened, you have to imagine the world before cities. Thousands of years ago, most humans were not living in houses, villages, or kingdoms. They moved constantly. They followed animals, they searched for plants, they slept near fires. And in that world, cats had almost no reason to care about humans. Wildcats were already built perfectly for survival. They had sharp claws, night vision, silent footsteps, flexible bodies, and a hunting instinct that did not need training. They were not looking for owners, they were looking for prey. But then humans made one of the biggest decisions in history. We stopped moving, we began farming, and that changed everything. For the first time, humans started growing food in one place: wheat, barley, grain. Harvest after harvest, food began to pile up inside early villages. To humans, this was civilization. To rats and mice, it was paradise. Think about that for a second. The first farms were not just feeding humans, they were feeding rodents. Every grain store became a buffet. Every clay jar became a target. Every village became a hidden city for mice. And wherever mice appeared, cats followed. And this is the important part. The first cats did not walk into human villages because they loved us. They came because we had accidentally built hunting grounds for them. The first cat that entered a human settlement was not asking to be loved, it was following dinner. At first, humans probably watched from a distance, a small wildcat slipping between storage huts, a pair of glowing eyes near the grain, a dead mouse left behind in the dirt, and slowly humans began to understand something. A cat near the grain meant fewer rats meant more food meant survival. So humans did not need to tame cats the way they tamed other animals, they just had to tolerate them. No leash, no command, no training. The cat hunted, humans stayed out of the way, and both sides benefited. But here is where the story gets strange. Most domesticated animals changed because humans controlled them. Humans bred cows for milk, horses for strength, sheep for wool, dogs for loyalty. But cats were different. Cats changed only enough to live near us. They became less afraid, a little calmer, a little more comfortable around human voices, firelight, footsteps, and children. But they never fully surrendered. They stayed independent, they stayed mysterious, they stayed just wild enough to leave whenever they wanted, and maybe that is exactly why humans became fascinated by them. Because cats were useful but never desperate, close but not obedient, present but not owned. And nowhere did cats rise higher than ancient Egypt. In Egypt, grain was life. The Nile flooded, fields grew, granaries filled, and if rats destroyed the grain, people could starve. So a cat was not just cute, a cat was protection. It guarded food, it killed rats, it chased snakes, it moved through homes, temples, and storage rooms like a tiny living weapon. And over time, something practical became something sacred. The hunter became a symbol. The symbol became divine. Cats appeared in art, cats entered homes, cats became connected with protection, fertility, beauty, and power. In Egypt, cats did not just enter civilization, they climbed into its religion. And once humans began to trade, cats found their next opportunity. Ships. Ancient ships carried grain, cloth, oil, spices, and people, but they also carried rats. Rats chewed through ropes, they spoiled food, they spread disease. They could destroy supplies before a ship even reached land. So sailors brought cats on board, and without building a single ship, cats crossed oceans. Without drawing a single map, they followed trade routes. Without fighting a single war, they entered empires, from ports to markets, from temples to farms, from villages to royal courts. Wherever humans stored food, cats found prey. Wherever humans traveled, cats found passage. Wherever civilization expanded, cats quietly expanded with it. That is the genius of the cat story. Cats did not conquer the world by force, they conquered it by timing. They arrived exactly when humans needed them. When farming created grain, cats protected it. When cities created waste, cats hunted through it. When ships created global trade, cats sailed with it. When homes became safe and warm, cats moved inside. And eventually, humans forgot that the relationship began with rodents and survival. We started seeing cats differently, not just as hunters, but as companions, as symbols, as personalities, as creatures with moods, secrets, and strange little rituals. And yet, even today, the wild past is still there. When your cat stares at an empty corner, something ancient is awake. When it suddenly runs through the house at night, that is not random madness. That is a predator's body remembering darkness. When it hides in boxes, stalks toys, needs blankets, or drops a dead insect near you, it is not just being weird. It is carrying instincts older than civilization itself. Your cat may sleep on your sofa, but its body was built for the night. Its ears still scan for tiny movements. Its eyes still widen in darkness. Its paws still fall silently. Its brain still understands the world as hunter and prey. That is why cats feel different from other pets. Dogs joined humans like partners. Horses worked beside humans. Cows and sheep became part of human survival. But cats did something stranger. They moved into the spaces civilization created. They used our farms. They used our grain. They used our ships. They used our homes. And then somehow they used our hearts. Because today, the same animal that once crept around ancient grain stores now sleeps under blankets, knocks things off tables, ignores its name, and still gets treated like royalty. That is not an accident. That is thousands of years of perfect strategy. Cats gave humans just enough usefulness to be welcomed, just enough mystery to be respected, and just enough affection to be loved. So tonight, when a cat walks across your room like it owns the place, remember this. That confidence is not random. Cats have been walking through human civilization like they owned it for thousands of years. They did not build our farms, they did not build our temples, they did not build our ships, but they used all of them. And from the first grain stores of the ancient world to the warm beds of modern homes, cats followed humanity across the planet, not as servants, not as prisoners, but as tiny predators that found a way to turn human civilization into their kingdom.